Good morning, Big Brother Canada fans. It is me, Mike. It is March 5th, Thursday. And I thought I would do a little car cast to kick off Big Brother Canada. Let you know my thoughts, but frankly, I can't tell you the name of but maybe one house guest so far. I was going to print out the list, so I had a list to look at and give you my impressions, because I did have thoughts about most of the house guests, but I don't think I'm going to try to wade through and say, well, you know, the one that's the lobster fisherman, what do I think of her? Or the one that's a clone of Swaggy, maybe a little bit looking Swaggy-ish in the way he carried himself. I don't know. There's that never-ending typecasting. There's a couple of typecast people that look like Big Brother US Canada's moved north. But I enjoyed the premiere episode, which was last night. Now we can take a brief detour to talk about how those of you outside of Canada, not necessarily just in the U.S., but those outside of Canada, how can you watch Big Brother Canada? Look, there are ways. I actually started it 3 different ways last night, and I will explain them to you very briefly. And I ain't going to try to help people. I tweeted a little bit of information, but look, I mean, frankly, as far as the lawyers are probably concerned, none of the ways I tell you are legal, but VPN can't. I mean, what can you say? It is playing to a server in Canada as far as the internet's concerned. So let's talk about the ways that those outside of the U.S. can actually watch Big Brother Canada. From the easiest, technically, honestly, you have to be diligent. You have to have your YouTube game going. I don't know about Dailymotion, which is another video service kind of like YouTube, a little bit less regulated. Things can get out there and last a little bit longer sometimes, but let's be honest, the lawyers at Big Brother Canada are actively out there scouring the interwebs for copies of their TV show, and if they find them, they have them shut down as soon as possible. And driving. I have someone who's in a hurry. Sorry. Welcome to my world. Had a person who was riding my tail, and I got out of his way, and then he slowed down instead of passing me right away. And then I ended up getting over. All right. Back to what I was talking about. All right. So, YouTube, Dailymotion. That's the first place where you can find episodes. You have to start looking shortly after the show airs. And there are lots of nefarious people out there trying to get you to go to bad places or potentially bad places to click. So you'll find hour-long YouTube videos that purport to say, watch the show here, and it's not real. So you have to know that going into it. So there's a lot of misclicks. But last night, at least for a brief moment, I did find a copy of last night's episode. I actually searched for BBCan8, just BBCAN and the number 8. I put a filter on my search to say posted within the last, I think I had an option for 4 hours on the PC, but maybe it was an hour. So I'm only looking for videos that have been posted in the last hour or very few hours that had the somewhere in the description BBCan8, not Big Brother Canada, because that's what's going to get just tons of just the people that are posting this also know that they're not going to last very long, so they try to disguise the names a little bit. The other thing I had, S08 E01. That stands for Season 8, Episode 1. That is a common naming convention for people that share TV shows out on the internet. They usually give you a season number and an episode number. So last night was Season 8, Episode 1. You throw in the zeros. But that, of course, is going to get you multiple shows, potentially. That's their 8th season and first episode. But usually not just yesterday. So that's a couple of ways you can look. I use that search term, just the BB Can 8. I know that particular video that someone posted had the S08 E01 in the title. So they were using that. So it would have turned up that way, too. And so I posted it. All right, I watched it, loaded it up. It was slightly sped up, which is another trick that people do to keep things from getting caught, because YouTube kind of checks the audio of the shows, and if it sounds exactly like, the opening theme to Big Brother Canada 8, it may get flagged. But if they speed it up slightly, it kind of confuses that system. So it was there, slightly sped up. It was 43 minutes long, I think, roughly, because they cut out the commercials. Because basically what they're uploading, I think, is the actual edit that gets shared out on another method that's a way to listen to it. Okay, I'm gonna shorten this up, because guess what? I'm only like 7 or 8 minutes from work, and this is not what some of you are here to hear. But let me finish my thought. It was there last night, and it was gone this morning. It was probably up for an hour or two at the most. So, again, if you want to catch it online, you can catch it sometimes, but those people that post that generally get in trouble, and their accounts don't also last very long either, because that was a strike against them, probably for posting copyrighted material. So they probably got a strike against them, and so, what are the odds that account's going to be around? Not very long. But it was there. Another method, the most popular method I would expect, especially by people who, first of all, you have to have a little bit of money, meaning you have to have some money, because you need to pay for a service called a VPN. That stands for Virtual Private Network. I will tell you that Hamster Watch has a whole thing for a site it's called HMA, Hide My Ass, because you're hiding where you're actually connecting from. She has a whole site or page area devoted to how to do this, and I'm telling you, if you have, I think it's probably $40 a year. At least I have a VPN myself, a different company, and I think I pay roughly $40 a year for that VPN. And so it does a similar thing when I happen to need it. And if you follow her page, you follow the instructions, you can pretend that you're sitting in Canada. The servers for the TV show will think you're in Canada, and they will stream you, because they post the video online later in the evening. Last night's episode was up on the Big Brother Canada site by 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And so I fired up my VPN program, went to Big Brother Canada, and sure enough, starts playing for a little bit. I didn't watch it there, because I watched it in another way, which we'll get to in just a second. And so that's another option. But again, it's free to watch on their site, but you have to pay at least this episode was. Someone was saying you might have to verify you actually have a cable TV account or something, but I don't think so. I think you'll be able to watch the most recent episodes live, because you can do that on CBS's site as well. All right, so that's another way. It's a VPN. That's what that term means when you hear it. It pretends that you are actually using computers located in Canada. You are connecting with those, and then those are the things that are going out and getting the video. And so the servers in Canada think that you are sitting in Canada. All right. Lastly is the dark and scary world of torrents. And if you don't know what torrents are, how they work, then frankly, I'm not going to encourage you to get into that, and you probably shouldn't, because it's not. There's legalities. You could definitely get in trouble with your internet service provider. Potentially could get in trouble with companies and things like that, because it is while torrenting itself is not illegal, it's what you are torrenting that could be considered breaking rules and stuff. But that being said, there are torrents of Big Brother Canada posted within 10 or 15 minutes of the show ending, and those with the means and the ability can go out, grab the file, and download it, and then watch it. So, I have a Plex server, which is a way to store my own media. If I were to happen to get a copy of like last night's episode and save it to my Plex server, then I could watch it on any device I had. That's one way you can do things. Again, but as I said, there's several different ways. You just have to know what to do, and I apologize to those of you that aren't very tech savvy. I wish I could help you, but I just can't. I just can't. Unless you're a millionaire and you want to pay me, I'll come to your house and help you if you want to pay my way and all that. Super, I'll do that. But I can't do tech support for people for this stuff. It also, if you don't have a computer, if all you have is a mobile device, you're really limited on what you can do. You can put a VPN on your phone. I have a VPN client for my I think the company I have for my phone. I think I could watch Big Brother Canada on my phone too, using a like Chrome or something. But again, it's a little bit of techie work, and it's just too much trouble if you don't have a little bit of tech knowledge, a little bit of tech savvy. All right, that all being said, now that I've wasted all of my time talking about how to watch it, let's talk about my first impressions of the show. It looks like it'll be interesting. I plan on not watching the live feeds at all, which those are still available, by the way. Live feeds available. Use BB Viewer. Once again, if you don't know how to use BB Viewer, I don't know what to tell you. I tweeted links this morning to Liquid 8. He has the installer, but you need a computer or you need a Windows computer or a Mac or a Linux machine to be able to use BB Viewer. But the feeds are available through BB Viewer, and they are free. And I say feeds, that's really one feed, but they are available. I ain't going to try to help you with that either. And I'm not going to watch the live feeds. I'm going to be a TV-only viewer. Probably not going to view ahead. I'm probably going to watch every episode, hopefully not knowing what's going to happen during the episode. So I'm truly going to be a TV-only viewer, a casual for Big Brother Canada. That being said, yeah, I really didn't watch any of the interviews. Did not watch any of the interviews. And so I was pretty much brand spanking new going into Big Brother Canada last night. Enjoyed the cast reveals. Now I got an electric skateboard person in front of me who is fishtailing, going under the speed limit. Yes, you should get out of my way, person. I don't appreciate this. And riding an electric skateboard without a helmet, not very smart. Then again. Well, they went that away. All right. Oh, God, random thoughts. Welcome back to my world. Cast looks interesting. House is really cool. They're pretty much all indoor. They get a view of the world. They do have an outside area, but they don't get a lot of it. And remember, it's still winter, and this is in Canada. But the house is really, really cool, and the graphics are awesome. It's a whole superhero origin story theme, and it's kind of cool. The cast themselves, interesting bunch. Even though Arissa Cox, who is the host, and a very good host, I might add. Yay, Arissa. I enjoy Arissa as a host. She's a true Big Brother fan, and she's a fan of the U.S. show as well. And she follows me, and she even liked a couple of my tweets this morning. So, you know what? I can't not like Arissa. How can I not like Arissa? As she said, it's a slightly older group than average, but it's still pretty darn young, pretty people. It's not super old or anything. But it is what it is. You're not going to... young people don't want to watch old people, and old people don't generally mind watching young people. So that's what you're going to get. You're going to get young under 30 or early 30 folk. That's what you're going to get. It is definitely it is not as pretty people a group as the U.S. seems to get, but it's still pretty people. A lot of buff guys, but fun. So last night was basically meet the house guests. They went into the house in 2 groups of 5 and a group of 6. They did one competition. By the way, this is all pre-recorded. Unlike the U.S. version, it's all live to tape. They taped it probably earlier in the day. Well, actually, this is the first episode, so I think they went in the house probably this past weekend or something, or maybe even last week. So they've been in for a little bit. But and I could be wrong. This is how close I'm following Big Brother Canada. But they got in the house, they met each other, and what we saw was that, and then we saw the first competition. There is no head of household this week. They basically had a popularity vote with the public. The lowest 4 vote getters are up, could be evicted. So they have 2 competitions. 2 people can win immunity, and then it'll be down to 2 people, and one of those 2 people will get voted out. So they had 2 guys and 2 girls that got the lowest votes. That's interesting. I don't know if it was done intentionally or if it just happened to work out that way. But 2 guys, 2 girls got the lowest votes, and they had their first competition, which was a physical competition. And one of them won, and I'm not going to spoil anything. And so that person is safe. It was a really cool competition. Very, very, they had to hold up cars basically using a rope and a whole leverage thing. And this is what I was watching last night. This is why I want to do this, because I want to talk about that. The whole leverage thing. Couple of the people were doing just a brute strength they're holding this rope over their shoulders and leaning forward to keep tension. And once they let up on the tension, it would cause this car to drop off an overpass. It was a whole superhero theme. Couple of the people got it. It's a very geometry, physics, whatever you want to call it thing. And they had if you think of the rope coming off your back, the angle that makes, the smaller the angle, the better, because that gives you better leverage. So the best thing to do is lean as far forward as you can and hold that strap over your shoulder, and that created almost a straight line between you and your support. The more you stood up straight, the harder it was going to be. And a couple of people stood up pretty darn straight and didn't end up doing very well. Whereas a couple people were leaned in way deep as far as they could go, and that angle would help them. And sure enough, that's what I thought when I saw it. I said, oh no, I would have leaned as far forward as I could and held it over my shoulder, used it actually to keep me from hitting the ground, kind of a thing, use it to keep me off the ground. And so, anyways, it happened. That's where the show ended. It's an interesting cast. I know that I don't know the half of it. I know that so much has probably already gone on. The feeds, I think, kicked on last night. Maybe they had teaser feeds. I'm not even sure. But there are people out there that know so much more than me at this point. And I'm just going to watch. I don't even know what the next night is. I haven't figured it out yet. I don't know what the next night it's on is. It may be tomorrow. It may be Friday. I'm not even sure. I'll have to look it up. And but point is, good Big Brother. I personally, I like the Big Brother TV show on its own. Do I want to say better than the U.S.? I'm not sure, but it's pretty good. And going into it knowing I'm only going to watch the TV show, I'll see how I do. But what's going to happen is I will be hopefully going on a vacation in a couple of weeks. And this is what happens. I go on vacation. I don't have any access to the internet for a couple of days, and then I get back and I'm already out and I don't catch back up. We'll see. This show is supposed to go for 12 weeks, though. It's longer than normal. By my calculations, this is going to go all the way through May. That's a long time. I'm not sure if I can I've had a hard time staying with Big Brother Canada in the past. I did make it through all last season, but it's been hard in the past. So we'll give it a shot, see how it goes. Hope this has been informative for some of you, and I'm sorry that I got hung up on how to watch it, but you know what? That's really important to some people, and I wanted to share. So I'm done. Talk to you guys later. Hope you all have had a good several months, those of you that are hearing me for the first time. And now I've been sitting in my car for 5 minutes, and I got to go. Talk to you all later. Bye-bye.